And here you see MG4, it is divided into 4 blocks. Each block has 4 units, and today I will try to discuss 1.5 unit of your course, because I am to cover your course in 3 periods. For the better discussion, I have prepared PowerPoint. It will be easier, very easier to discuss and to understand the paper. So let us start our discussion. Okay, all of you clear? So I am presenting my MGP4 through our PowerPoint. You see. Okay, MGP4. Am I audible to you, students? Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, sir. You are very much audible.
Okay, thank you. MGP4. Gandhiji's political thought. It is divided. I have already told you it is divided into 4 parts or 4 blocks. And block 1, Gandhi on state nation, 2, individual and the state, 3rd, political ideologies, and 4th is peace by pacific means. So block 1, it is divided into 4 units. The block 1 deals with Gandhi on state and nation. Unit 1, introduction to Gandhian political thought. 2nd, Gandhi's views on state and citizenship, otherwise known as Ram Rajya. 3rd is Gandhi's views on democracy or Gram Swaraj. And 4th is Gandhi's concept of nationalism. So let us start from unit 1. For better discussion, I have prepared about 27 slides, and I have tried my best to touch about all topics, chapters of your course. I have decided to cover 6 units. So unit 1, introduction to Gandhian political thought. So before starting our discussion, let us know something about Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, otherwise known as father of the nation. Everybody knows he is considered as the father of the nation. But Gandhi is considered as the incarnation of non-violence, pity, sympathy, love, affection, and embodiment of self embodiment of peace. So here we are concerned with Gandhiji's political thought or political philosophy, but not we are concerned with Gandhiji's life history. So we consider Gandhi as an activist and a thinker of 20th century. Why should we say like this, an activist? Because Gandhi is the maker of India's destiny, maker of modern India, and today also Indians respect him, and we also adopt a Gandhian philosophy in order to get our demands fulfilled. Regarding the Gandhian political thought, like other political thinkers, Gandhi was also influenced by different forces, different elements. Like he was influenced by traditional elements, traditional forces, Buddhist and others. Relating to traditional forces, he was a lover of Indian customs, traditions, lover of Vedas, Upanishads, story of Mahabharata, and Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. So he had imbibed different features from Indian culture, Indian Puranas, literature, so on. He was also influenced by Buddhist and like peace, non-violence, etc., etc. So Gandhi, in fact, if you say regarding Gandhian philosophy, Gandhian philosophy or Gandhi's philosophy lacks original ideas. But why should you say Gandhi is a philosopher? Because he is the first person who had introduced different principles, different ideas, social, political, social, religious ideas in the political field. That's why you consider him as a political philosopher. So, like a traditional and Buddhist and other factors, Gandhi was also influenced by Western thinkers like Ruskin. Derived from Ruskin, he derived the equal status work. He derived the equal status to all human beings. That means, according to Gandhi, all human beings must be given equal status in the society. So accordingly, Gandhi introduced ashram. Organization. Next, he was influenced by by the Tolstoy. From Tolstoy, he derived Satyagraha. Second is next is comes Thoreau, self-suffering and self-reliance. And important is he derived some principles from Karl Marx, a German philosopher. So Karl Marx was a supporter of a revolution, supporter of a stateless society, abolition of private property, etc., etc. But Gandhi was a supporter of peace, non-violence, pity, sympathy. So there is a clear-cut contradiction between Gandhian philosophy and Marxian philosophy. But point is, like state ownership of properties, Gandhi supported ownership of trusteeship. So he, for the better utilization of resources, for better economic management, he supported trusteeship. That means a group of persons should manage the factories, the production and the distribution. Gandhi was a critic of West, and he was a critic of British imperialism and colonialism. So Gandhi was a critic of West. West means Western culture, and he was a critic of industrialization because industrialization results in more production, exploitation, inequality, and privatization. Where there is a privatization, where there is industrialization, inequality, exploitation must be there. So he, instead of in the place of industrialization, he supported decentralization of resources and supported self-sufficient village. What is self-sufficient village? A village must be socially, socio-economically self-sufficient. The villagers must satisfy their own needs. Their own needs themselves. So, if you discuss Gandhian conception, you will find the cornerstone of Gandhian philosophy is Swaraj. So, Swaraj, what is Swaraj? Swaraj means self-rule. So, Gandhi was a supporter of self-rule. That means the Indians should manage their own affairs without depending on others. So, in this context, he asked the Britishers to leave India and hand over the political power to the Indians. So we'll discuss Swaraj in detail later on. And he was a critic of a British institution, no doubt, but he was an admirer of, supporter of British justice and fair play. He had full faith on British Constitution, justice, and the fair play of British people. In this case, what is the reason behind it? He was very much influenced by the struggle of the British people After a long struggle, Britishers got freedom. They received, they enjoyed justice, like women suffrage, etc., etc. So Gandhi also tried to introduce satyagraha. What is satyagraha means? Non-violence movement, and he advised the people to raise their voice against the British government through non-violence movement. Here we see Gandhi's, what is state? Gandhi's views on state and citizenship. What is state? Gandhi was a critic of a state, critic of a modern state. His state is different from Western state. State, according to him, Western state supports exploitation, centralization of power and resources, state management of properties, and in brief, according to Gandhi, modern state is soulless. So Gandhi was a critic of modern state and supports the minimum power of the state and supports power of the masses. So he was very much critic about the Western state, and also he was a critic of Austinian state. What is Austinian state? Austin was a British philosopher. He was a supporter of monopoly power of the state, centralization of power. Hence, Gandhi was a critic of centralization of power, and he was a supporter of decentralization of power. So, according to him, power must be decentralized, and actual power should be exercised by the people. Hence, he was a critic of Western state and Austrian state. So he supports a non-violent and self-sufficient state. Non-violent means, according to Gandhi, state should not use force. State should work for the development of the people, and people should watch on the activities of the state. And if state misuses its power, then people they raise their voice against the state. So voice rise against the state, but in a non-violent way. And state must be self-sufficient and must use indigenous goods and services. State must use indigenous goods and services. Regarding regarding organization of village, according to him, most of the people are living in villages. So development of the villages means development of India, and the village must be organized in a not in a hierarchical way, but in a oceanic way. Organized in a oceanic way. And what is oceanic way? Oceanic way means in the village, different classes, different sections, different castes, people are living. So all people, they should enjoy equal status and privileges. They should not have any distinction between the classes, and individuals should be treated as an indispensable part of the village, and the village should participate in the individuals should participate in the village administration, and villagers should participate in the election to the state legislature. So it must be each village will be considered as a republic. So that is known as it is organized in an oceanic way, but not in a hierarchical way. That hierarchy means it is just like a ladder, step by step. So all enjoy status positions, equal status positions and privileges in the society. So he gives importance to organization of the society, so organization of the village. And what is the role of police and jail? Police, generally we will say police punishes the criminals or wrongdoers, but according to Gandhi, police must be a social worker. It is his duty to reform the criminals and not to punish the criminals. And jail should be a place where criminals are reformed, not to punish the criminals, but criminals are reformed. So jail should be a place of reformation. And in the generally we see, if there is a police, it is obvious that the conflict must be there. So conflicts should be solved by peaceful methods, not by forceful methods. And it may be solved by passive resistance methods. And if people solve their problems peacefully, if there is no exploitation, no disturbance, nothing, then automatically, according to Gandhi, Swaraj will be established. So Swaraj means self-rule, where people control and manage their own affairs. So to Gandhi, there are three pillars of Swaraj. One is Hindu-Muslim unity. Second is abolition of untouchability. Third is upliftment of villages. Hindu-Muslim unity means generally, you see, Hindus are majority and Muslims are minority. Sometimes confrontations or conflicts are held between the two communities. So if they work together, if cordial relation is established between the Hindus and Muslims, then a peaceful society, a harmonious society will be established. And abolition of untouchability. In Hindu society is divided into different castes and untouchables. Untouchables means the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, we should say. They are neglected, they are exploited by the higher caste. So untouchability should be established, and all caste will enjoy equal status and positions, so that if untouchables will enjoy equal status with the higher caste, then Swaraj will be successful and Swaraj will be established. And upliftment of villages, so socio-economic upliftment must be there. Steps must be taken for socio-economic upliftment of villages, then Swaraj will be a success. So there are three pillars of Swaraj. So what should be the economic basis of political independence? Political independence means free from others' control, and states, the people should manage their own affairs. But what is the economic basis? You see, in everywhere you will find political activities, political policies are influenced by economic factors. So that's why Gandhi says political independence without economic independence is meaningless. So both are interrelated. So in this context, economic development must be there. If there is no economic development, the political independence will be useless or meaningless. So for the economic development, villages, the conditions, economic condition and social condition of the village should be reformed. More and more resources should be invested in the rural areas, so that rural areas will be developed, and the Indians will enjoy the real political freedom. And we have already discussed the concept of oceanic circle of villages. Oceanic circle means all villages are depicted as part of state administration. In a village, several people are there. Each and every people enjoy equal status and positions. Individual will be treated as an integral part of the village republic or village organizations. So for the development of rural people, rural areas, for the development of the people. Gandhi has suggested different programs, different methods. So social progress and social participation, social progress and the social transformation, both are linked. So, social progress is possible only by social transformation, and by social transformation, Purna Swaraj will be enjoyed by the people. What is Purna Swaraj? Purna Swaraj means complete independence, completely free from others' control in the political, in the social, in the economic, etc. Free from such forces. So, if Indians enjoy their economic status, economic prohibition means prohibition of drugs, and important is his concept of khadi. Khadi means the spinning wheel, or otherwise known as cottage industry. So it cottage industry or khadi will make the citizens, villagers self-sufficient. They will earn more and more money, and automatically they will lead a good life and better life. So encouragement must be given to the cottage industries and the khadi. And regarding sanitation, they are not living in a hygienic atmosphere, environment. So better environment must be created for the people of the villages, and for the more earning, better in order to develop the economic standard of the people. Gandhi sponsored or suggested basic education, or otherwise known as Nai Talim, new training. So new training means he gives importance to vocational education, and in this case he advises the people to adapt their family profession. And for this purpose, he has emphasized 3 R's. R's means all people must read, must write, and must know arithmetic. That means how to count, read, write, and arithmetic. And adult education must be, he gives importance to education. Here Gandhi is more closer to Greek philosopher Plato. Plato was a supporter of education, and Plato's theory of education. According to Plato, the king must be a philosopher. He must be well educated to manage the affairs of the state. As Gandhi was a supporter of Swaraj. Swaraj means self-rule, and it is a common man's government. So the people must be well educated, so that they will come to know about the problems of the state. So adult education should be introduced. And upliftment of women means, in our society, women are neglected, exploited, tortured. So women, to him, women, the status of women should be developed. They should enjoy equal status with men. And education in health and hygiene should be given. Development should be made. And the important is propagation of national language, otherwise known as Hindustani. So if the government adopt one language, then people will come together. They will share their feelings. So one national language must be adopted, must be introduced, and that may be Hindustani. About the citizenship, concept of citizenship. Who is a citizen? Our citizenship is different from Gandhian concept of citizenship. We say, who is a citizen? We say, he who owes allegiance to the state and enjoys different rights is known as a citizen. But Gandhi says, no. Who is a citizen? A citizen who adopts Satya, Dharma, and Ahimsa. Satya, Dharma and Ahimsa. A strong faith on God, must speak the truth and adopt non-violent and adopt ahimsa for the solution of the problems. If a person adopts such things, he is a citizen, good citizen. And why should we adopt such things? To Gandhi, state is a soulless machine. The state exercises power, state controls power, and always want to control the people. Always, state always wants to compel the people to accept and execute, accept their decisions. So according to Gandhi, state is a soulless machine, whereas individuals have souls. So they should adapt. They should support Satya, Dharma, and Ahimsa. So regarding the rights of the citizens, what is right? Right means we say the rights are guaranteed by the state to the citizens, facilities, social facilities. But to Gandhi, rights means something different. Rights means something different. Rights means different. Right means rights means the duties. It is the duty of the people or the individual to maintain harmony with others, to speak the truth, to adopt non-violence. If they perform their duties, and automatically they will enjoy their rights. So that's why our rights are different from Gandhian rights. And regarding the society, regarding the position of untouchables, Gandhi supports equal status of individuals. Gandhi supports the enjoyment of equal status of all citizens, irrespective of caste, creed, color. For this purpose, he has used the word horizon. That means horizon means people of the God. So the untouchables, there should not be any discrimination between higher and lower caste in the social field, in the villages, and untouchability should be abolished. What is democracy? Gandhi's views on democracy, otherwise known as Gram Swaraj. Generally, we say democracy means people's government. We say people's government, where people directly or indirectly participate in the affairs of the state. But our democracy is different from Gandhian democracy. Gandhian democracy means Gram Swaraj, where the people will exercise more powers, enjoy more status and positions, privileges. So people living in city areas and the village areas, there is a clear-cut distinction between city and village life. According to Gandhi, the city people, they support the Britishers, they enjoy more status, positions and privileges, whereas villagers, they are debarred of enjoying status, positions and privileges. So there is a difference between city life and village life. So the gap between the city and village life should be reduced. And if there is any discrimination between city life and village life, then the Gram Swaraj or the democracy will not be a success. The people of cities are artificial. According to him, he alleged that the people of city are artificial. People of cities are selfish. They are artificial, and they are supporting the British government, and the Indian government or the new government, they should emphasize on the village life, emphasize on the development of the villages. So the gap between the city and village should be reduced. And exploitation there must be an exploitation free society. In the exploitation free rural society, in the rural society, exploitations are there. The rich, the higher caste, they exploit the poor, the lower caste of the society. So exploitation, there should not be any exploitation, or exploitation should be removed, and all rich and poor, they should enjoy equal status and positions. And if they enjoy equal status and positions, then Gram Swaraj will be a success. Development of rural economy is also necessary for development of villages. Rural economy means more and more resources should be invested for development of rural people. And who will invest? Government will invest, and also urban people, they will invest in the rural areas. So urban people, they should also give importance to the development of rural people. Gandhi, in this case, Gandhi advises the urban people to go to the rural areas and live with rural people, and they should know the condition of the condition of the rural people. They should study the condition of the rural people, and after that, they should work for the development of rural areas. Here also, he advises the Satyagrahis to work in this field. And the cities, they should take their own place. They should work for their own work. They should work for their own development. And cities are already developed, but they should not. Their duties, their activities should be confined in their areas, and they should not interfere They should not interfere, or they should not exploit the rural areas and rural people. Gram Swaraj, Gram Swaraj organization. What is Gram Swaraj? Gram Swaraj means more and more power should be given to the people. They will enjoy more political power. They will enjoy economic power. They should be economically and politically self-sufficient. And for this purpose, he advises the villagers to participate in the village panchayats. So Gandhi advises to introduce village panchayat, where the villagers, they will solve their own problems, and each village will be a republic. And without participation of the villagers, the panchayat will be useless. Panchayat will not be fruitful. And economic autonomy must be there. All villagers, they must be self-sufficient. They should use their own knowledge for their development. Regarding the use of manure, they should use their own manure, that is just like a cow dung, and they should not use the fertilizers, pesticides, etc. And they should produce more and more. They should depend on their own profession. That means the profession of their profession of their family, so that economically they will be self-sufficient. Regarding emphasis on agriculture, most of the rural people are depending on agriculture. So development of agriculture must be there. So he emphasizes on development of agriculture. The agriculture development results in more production, and people get more and more money, so that their economic condition will be developed. And you see, in case of villages, there is no irrigation facilities. They depend on the rainwater. So water conservation must be there. The government must construct dams and to to conserve ponds, to conserve water, so that that will be utilized in agriculture. And there is a clear-cut relation between Swaraj and Swadeshi. Swadeshi means Swaraj. I have told you is a self-rule. People enjoy equal status and positions. They control themselves. And Swadeshi means use of indigenous goods and services. So foreign goods should not be used. Indians should use their own goods, and it is possible if people depend on cottage industries and encouragement. If government encourages cottage industries will develop the economic condition of the people. Regarding industrialization, he was, as I told you, he was a supporter of cottage industries. Obviously, he was a critic of industrialization. Gandhi was a critic of Western culture, Western industrialization. Industrialization supports establishment of large scale industries, and large scale industries results in more production and leads to self-destruction. Leads to self-destruction means more production means large scale industries will encourage colonialism and imperialism, and colonialism and imperialism will lead to self-destruction means after expansion of colonialism and imperialism, one country will be exploited by another country, and if people support industrialization, their indigenous industries will be affected. It will lead to self-destruction. So here in the large scale industries, there is a confrontation between working class and the proprietor or the factory owner. So Gandhi gives importance to working class and common people. Development of working class and common people means development of India. Here working class, he means the people, the rural people of rural areas. He is not concerned with like Karl Marx. He is not concerned with the working class of urban areas. So freedom must be given to working class, the peasants and common people of rural areas, and they must depend on agriculture. So return to nature is important for their development. Gandhi was a supporter of establishment of economic equality, which is contrary to the socialist. Socialist supports a classless society. Socialist supports economic equality. What is socialist economic equality and what is Gandhian economic equality? Socialist, to the socialist, economic equality could be established by revolution. The private properties of the capitalists should be confiscated. State should manage all goods, manage the means of all production and distribution, so that economic equality will be established. But Gandhi says economic equality means not confiscation of properties of the rich. Rich and poor must be there, but rich people should act as the trustee of their property. They should not use their property to harm the people, harm the common men. If they do not harm, they will use the property for the development of common people, poor people, and if they use this, if they invest their property, then economic equality will be established. So Gandhi was not a supporter of a revolution to establish economic equality. So in this case, Gandhi was a supporter of non-violent methods to establish economic equality. So in our society or the Indian society, conflict is there between capital labor conflict. Capital labor conflict means capitalist class and labor class. In a factory, the capitalist exploits the laborers. So labor capital conflict is there in rural. It exists in urban areas. Farmer and landlord in rural areas, conflict is there in rural areas, because the landlords, they always they try to exploit the farmers, the peasants. They are demand of getting their legitimate privileges, rights. So farmer and landlord conflict exist in rural areas. And village and city, there is a big gap between village and cities. So conflict is there. Cities, the people of urban areas, they try to exploit the people of rural areas, because the people of cities, they enjoy more facilities in the field of education, health, so on and so forth, social, political. And people of villages, they are debarred of enjoying such facilities. So I think Gandhi feels that the villages are jealous to the people of cities. Gandhi feels that. So social conflict is there between village and the cities. So what is the solution of the social conflicts? Solution is not class war, but non-violent or passive resistance. Solution: the social conflicts should be solved by non-violent passive resistance, non-violent methods or passive resistance. So they should the people should raise their voice against this conflict. They should demand their legitimate rights by adopting non-violent methods or passive. You see, what is the passive resistance? Passive resistance means to protest the authority in a non-violent methods. But satyagraha and passive resistance both are two different things. Passive resistance is a method of weak, whereas non-violent and satyagraha, non-violent method of satyagraha is a method of strong persons and healthy persons. So but passive resistance is method by the weak persons. What is the Gandhi was a critic of Gandhi was a critic of introduction of machinery. Introduction of machinery is essential to fulfill the basic needs. But he was a supporter of limited industrialization and not industrialization. Limited industrialization means the large scale industries should be managed by the state or the government, and small scale industries should be managed by the private persons. So machines or industrialization should be made according to the requirement, basic requirement of the people. Migration should be controlled. Generally, people of villages, they are interested to live in cities. So migration should be controlled so that the cities will not be overpopulated, and the people of villages, they should live in the rural people. They should live in their villages and work with their own profession. And large scale industries should not be managed by the private persons. If it is managed by the private persons, exploitation difference will be there. The laborers will be exploited, workers will be exploited by the factory owner or capitalist. So large scale industries should be controlled by the government, and small scale industries should be controlled by the people. And for the economic development of the rural areas, cottage industry should be encouraged. He gives importance to khadar, otherwise known as Swadeshi. Gandhi was a supporter of Swadeshi, use of indigenous goods and services for economic development. So encouragement encouragement, cottage industries must be encouraged, and it will result in more it will make the people, rural people, self-sufficient in the economic front. As I have told you, Gandhi was a supporter of equal society. Gandhi was a supporter of equal society. So here is a difference between Marxian equal society and Gandhian equal society. Marxian equal society, Gandhian equal society. Marx wants to establish an equal society by revolution, confiscation of properties of the rich, abolition of private industries, private properties, so that there will not be any distinction between rich and poor, and all will be equally treated. But Gandhi was a critic of revolution, and Gandhi was a supporter of non-violence, self-suffering, and according to Gandhi, equal society will be established if the gap between rich and poor will be reduced, and the rich people will act as the custodian of their properties. The difference between the class exploitation between the landlords and the peasants, removal of superstitions, social evils. If such things are made, then equal society will be established in India. Gandhi's conception of nationalism. What is nation? What is nation? Our concept of nation is different from Gandhian concept of nation. Our concept of nation is different from Gandhian concept of nation. What is nation? Today we say nation means if people, irrespective of differences, they come together or unite together and work for the development of the state and love their own state, it is known as nation. So nation, generally it is said it is a Western concept, but if people love their own nation, work for the development of the nation, then nationalism, the feeling of nationalism will be generated in the minds of the people. So nationalism is necessary. Without nationalism, the independence, unity and integrity of the state will be endangered. Nationalism is necessary. Some say that Britishers have created feeling of nationalism in the minds of the people, so they should not leave India. Some say. But to Gandhiji, India was a nation before independence, because in India, there's several categories of people, just like Hindus, Muslims, different castes. They are living harmoniously in the state, and the feeling of nationalism was there. So here he says different regions behind the Indian nationalism. So India has a capacity of accommodation, according to Gandhi. India has the capacity of accommodation. What is accommodation? In the pre-independence days, history gives us evidences that India welcomes other religions, Muslims and other religious peoples. They live with Hindus, and so India accommodates other religions, Muslims, and foreign invaders also. They invade India, capture different parts of India, and the invaders, they also live together. History says us. So accommodation, India has the capacity of accommodation, which is today we say the unity between different groups, caste, creed, color. So according to Gandhi, the Indian people means the acharyas, the holy, the religious persons. They have established different pilgrim centers, pilgrim places for communal harmony, for, and they emphasize on equal status, just like establishment of Jagannath temple. In the Jagannath temple, all are equal treated, no difference between caste and color. And the place of Haridwar, all are equal treated. Haridwar of North, all are equal treated. And yes, see the Rameswaram temple of South, there also all are equal treated. So religious, there is no different religious differences in India before independence. So different pilgrims places, different religious places were there to establish communal harmony and religious harmony. And religious tolerance was also there, and today is also there. Unity in diversity is the culture of India. Unity in diversity. Religious tolerance is the culture of India. And even before independence and after independence, and India has adopted tolerance and secularism, and the foreigners, they had not destroyed the religious tolerance of the Indians. So harmony is there. Unity in diversity is there. The Hindus are tolerant enough to the Muslims or other religious creeds, religious communities. Ahimsa was there before independence and after independence. Ahimsa was there. Role of Ahimsa plays an important role. I have already told you. Ahimsa, the concept of Ahimsa was derived from, Gandhi has derived the concept of Ahimsa from Buddhism. Ahimsa. To him, Gandhi says that Hindus are the supporters of Ahimsa, and sometimes the Muslims they don't support Ahimsa. But however, Ahimsa is there. Ahimsa plays an important role in the Indian community, or roles in India. Role of English language. Role of English language. It helps the Indians to get scientific education. English language is necessary to know the culture, literature of the Western countries, but it creates a difference between among the Indians, in English educated persons and other persons. So to him, English education should be there, but it should not create any difference between the two, between the English educated and English uneducated persons. So one mother tongue, one language should be introduced. That means the mother tongue, so that exchange will be made in the cultural, in the religious, in the political field. In India, as I've told you, there is unity in diversity. Each region has its own language, and people, they give importance to their own regional languages. And Gandhi says that importance should be given to all regional languages, and there should not be, the development of regional languages should not be restricted. What is the assessment of Congress? Gandhi was a active member of the Congress and a critic of British imperialism and policy of British imperialism and colonialism. But you see, Gandhi was a supporter of, no doubt, critic of British imperialism and colonialism, but he was a supporter of British justice and fair play. Before 1919, you see, he was very much influenced by the economic development, the um, the organization, the constitutional organization of British government. He was very much influenced by. That's why he was a supporter of British justice and fair play. But his attitude was changed after 1919. even 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 in the during the First World War, he advised the people to join the First World War or to support the British government. But the 1919 incident, what is the 1919 incident? That is Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So this incident had changed the attitude of Gandhi towards the British government. So he changed the attitude, and he lost his faith on British justice and fair play. He took steps against the British government, but in spite of this, he supported British parliamentary system. And you see, Indian parliamentary system is derived from the British parliamentary system. We are very much influenced. Gandhi was a supporter of British parliamentary system, and accordingly, we have introduced, or India has introduced, parliamentary system. So, in spite of in spite of critic, in in spite of his opposition to British policy of colonialism and imperialism, he supported British parliamentary system. Gandhi was a supporter of self-rule. Self-rule, otherwise known as Swaraj. Otherwise known as Swaraj. So Gandhi was a supporter of self-rule, and to him, nationalization means self-rule. What is self-rule? Self-rule means the people should control themselves, and there should be an exploitation-free society. India should get independence and manage their own political affairs. So who will manage the political affairs? Automatically the elite. So what is elite? What is elite? Elite means a group of people who manages the affairs of the state or manages the affairs of the government and controls the economic condition of the state. So self-rule does not mean the rule of the elite, and elite should not interfere. The elite should not interfere the affairs of the people, and the state or the government is a sole force. It is not a sole force, because government is soulless, and sometimes government uses power. To Gandhi, no doubt, use of power is necessary, but brute power, use of more power is not necessary. If government use more power, then government of the beast, law of the jungle will be established. There will be lawlessness. So use of power is necessary, but use of more powers is not necessary. So brute force should not be the basis of the self-rule. So Swaraj must be maintained. Swaraj, in case of Swaraj, the poor men, the ordinary people, they should control the affairs of the government, and the state should exercise less power, and people should exercise more power, and government should be responsible to the people, and people cannot be free from the affairs of the government. So, what are the conditions of Swaraj? According to Gandhi, there are two conditions of Swaraj. One is mental condition, and another is external condition. What is mental condition? Mental condition means inner liberation from temptations. Inner liberation from temptations. Temptation means generally individuals are selfish. They are swayed by different forces, say greediness, property. They are swayed by social evils. So the inner liberation. The people should be free from such evils, free from the temptations, and freedom of hatred, freedom from the hatred towards the enemy. The people should not hate the enemy. So who is the enemy? Enemy is the British government. So British government should be hated, but British people should not be hated. British people should not be hated, and people should object the system, the organization, and they should not object the British people. That's why even after independence also, India adopted Gandhian principle and became a member of Commonwealth countries. So the enemy, the policy of enemy should be hated. The enemy as a person should not be hated. And the active love for Indian masses, the Indians, they must love themselves. Cordial relation should be established between the race, caste, creed, color, and a casteless society should be established. So all Indians, they must they must live cordially, harmoniously. What is the external condition? What is the external condition? External condition is political independence from foreign dominions. Political independence from foreign dominions. That means India should be free from foreign control. And second is dedication for improving the material conditions. What are the material conditions? Material conditions means that is poverty, illiteracy, oppression, exploitation. All these are treated as material conditions. So steps should be taken to improve the material condition of the society. So here Gandhi says that Swaraj, India must get Swaraj so that socio-economic development of the Indians would be made. The question is, what is Swaraj? It is a combination of two words. Swaraj. Swa means self, Raj means administration. So people should control themselves, and India must be free. There should be an exploitation free society. India must be an exploitation in India. Indian society must be free from exploitation, differences, hatred, so on and so forth. And people will enjoy status, privileges. All will be equally treated. And to him, Swaraj means otherwise known as Ram Rajya, where there is no exploitation, feelings, distinction, etc., etc. So to him, Gandhi means Swaraj means get rid of oppressive rules. What is oppressive rules? Oppressive rules means foreign rules. For the establishment of Swaraj, foreign oppressive rules should be abolished. India must be free. Second comes no inclination to Western civilization. No inclination to Western civilization. Western civilization means is a class-based civilization, class-based society. Rich, poor, there, landlords, laborers are there. Concentration of property is there. And Indians, they should not support Western civilization. They should preserve, protect preserve their own civilization, culture, and literature. And artha, otherwise known as money, money should not be centralized. Money should not be centralized, but that should be decentralized. Money should be used for the development of the poor, the rich people. Gandhi was not a supporter of confiscation of properties of the rich people, but rich people, they should act as the trustee of their property, trustee of the property, and they should use their property for the development of the poor people or for development of rural areas. And they should not use the rich people, they should not use their property to harm the poor people. So artha or money should be properly utilized. And this could be possible. This would be possible by self-reform, constitutional reform, and economic reform. Self-reform, constitutional reform, and economic. What is self-reform? Free from different fields, say greediness, selfishness. So India, the people should reform themselves. They should change their attitude and outlook. Constitutional reform means the administration must be reformed, new government must be established, should be established, power should be decentralized, actual power should be exercised by the rural people, and should not be concentrated. So constitutional reform must be made so that Swaraj will be established. And economic reform, state should or India should use indigenous goods and services, and more and more money should be invested for economic development of the villages, because development of India depends on the development of the villages. So villages must be self-sufficient, and if more and more will be self-sufficient, if more and more resources is invested in rural areas, so they should the villages for economic development, the villagers should reform themselves. And close relation, Gandhi says that Swaraj is possible by satyagraha. Swaraj is possible by satyagraha. What is satyagraha? It is a combination of two words, satya plus agraha. Satya means truth, agraha means willingness. Adherence to truth. Willingly adherence to truth is known as satyagraha. And it is a broad concept, and we will discuss in other slide. Satyagraha, in brief, satyagraha means if a people supports, if adopts truth, faith on God, and adopts non-violent methods, then satyagraha will be established and he will be a satyagrahi. And satyagraha is the means by which Swaraj would be established. So there is a close relation between Swaraj and satyagraha. To Gandhi, Swaraj cannot be established by violent methods, and it will be established by satyagraha or non-violent methods. Because by satyagraha, the hardest soul, the hardest, the soul of the hardest person will be won. So satyagraha is necessary, and by satyagraha, Swaraj will be established. And in the Swaraj, the villages must be self-sufficient. In the village areas, Hindu-Muslim unity should be there, abolition of untouchability, and upliftment of India's upliftment of villages. Hindu-Muslim unity, because most of the people are Hindus are majority and Muslim and other communities are minority. If they live together harmoniously, then peace will be established. Abolition of untouchability means untouchable people should be the otherwise known as Harijans, according to Gandhi. They should be equal treated with a higher caste. So abolition, untouchability should be abolished, so that there will be an exploitation-free village will be established. And upliftment of Indian villages upliftment of Indian villages should be made by socio-economic development of the villages should be made. For this purpose, government should adopt different methods. They invest the money, the resources should be established in the village areas. So, in brief, we should say that Gandhi was a supporter of, Gandhi was a critic of anti-imperialism. Gandhi was a critic of anti-racism, and Gandhi was a critic of, Gandhi was a supporter of Asianism. That means India should establish good relation with other states. Gandhi was a supporter of democracy, but that means democracy means people's democracy, but not today's democracy. Today's democracy is different from Gandhian democracy, because today's democracy, to him, today's democracy or modern democracy is a farce, because people do not exercise their franchise honestly. So Gandhi was a supporter of democracy, means people's democracy, and Gandhi was a supporter of non-violence, and supporter of non-violence, and he was a critic of violence. With this, we have briefly concluded block 1. Let us switch over to block 2. In this block 2, we will discuss only 2 units, that is unit 5th and unit 6th. So today we will discuss only 6 units, and next class we will discuss other 5 to 6 units, and last class we will discuss the other 4 units so that we will get more and more time for discussion. Block 2, it is individual and the states, individual and the state. It has 4 units. 5th unit is rights and duties. Second is means of the relation between means and ends. Rights and duties, and second is means and ends. First unit 5, that is rights and duties. What is right and what is duty? Why rights and duties? We say rights and duties are interrelated and reciprocal. What is right? Right means today we say, generally we say rights means the facilities which are guaranteed by the state to the citizens is known as right. Duties means, what is duty? Duty means the activities which are performed by the individual for the development of the state is known as duties. If a person enjoys the rights, he has to perform his duties properly. So there is a close relation between rights and duties. But Gandhi's conception of rights and duties are something different. Gandhi was an individualist. Gandhi was an individualist and supporter of individualism. What is individualism? What is individualism? Individualism means, and it is otherwise known as, it is a theory, it is a philosophy which gives importance to more and more powers to the individual and less powers to the states. Individualism supports mixed economy, centralization of resources, supports privatization, supports democracy, supports yes, I have told you, industrialization, democracy, mixed economy. Mixed economy means existence of both existence of both private sector and public sector. It is known as mixed economy. So it is known as individualization. But Gandhian individualism, Gandhian individualism is something different from Western individualism. Justice supporter of John Locke, so on, Herbert Spencer, Tolstoy, etc. So Gandhi feels that individual and society both are interlinked. Individual is an indispensable part of the society, and development of the individual means development of the society. If if economic condition of each and every individual is developed, ultimately society will be economic condition of the society will be developed. So as individual is a law-abiding person, state should not use power over the individual. And but to Gandhi, state uses force. So according to him, state should exercise limited power so that it will not use force, and the ultimate power should be vested in the hands of the individual. So he was in brief, he was a supporter, he was a critic of unrestricted freedom, unrestricted power of the individual, sorry, unrestricted power of the state. Also, he was a critic of unrestricted freedom of the individual, because unrestricted freedom will result in lawlessness, oppression, exploitation. So individuals should enjoy limited freedom, state should enjoy limited power. So on unrestricted freedom will lead to anarchy, and it is otherwise known as the law of the beast. So freedom, individual must enjoy freedom, but not unrestricted freedom, but limited freedom. Similarly, state should not enjoy more power, and state should enjoy limited power. And if necessary, state may use force, limited force, over the individual. So regarding the rights and duties, as I have told you, both are interrelated and reciprocal. But what is right and what is duty? Our rights and duties is different from Gandhian conception of rights and duties. First, Gandhi gives importance to duties rather than rights. Gandhi gives importance to duty rather than rights. So first he says that individual should perform his duties. What is duty? To establish good relation with others, to maintain communal harmony, to support non-violence, pity, sympathy, faith on God, because God is truth and truth is God. So faith in God, support non-violence, and adopt the principles of Satyagraha. If the individual adopts such things, ultimately he will enjoy his rights, legitimate rights. So individual first discharge his duties properly, then automatically he will enjoy the rights. But today we see, we give importance to rights first, and we do not do, and we ignore our duties. So Gandhi, that's why Gandhi was a critic of modern rights and duties. So I have told you Gandhi was an individualist. He was a supporter of liberties of the individual, but not more liberties. And development of the society is possible only by the development of individual, because it is individual is a part of the society, and society, individual, and dharma, to him all three are interrelated. So individual is a part of the society, and without individual there can be no society, and individuals should adopt dharma, pity, sympathy, love, affection, faith on God, non-violence. If individual adopts dharma, then an equal society, a peaceful society will be established. Equal and peaceful society will be established. So there is a close relation between society, individual, and dharma. His concept of autonomy. Autonomy means self-dependent. Gandhi says that autonomy should be there. In state must be autonomous in the economic field, social field, and other fields. So the individuals, they should give importance to develop their intrinsic quality, because the society is an aggregation of individual, and if intrinsic quality, inborn quality is emphasized, if individual gives importance to himself, other persons, then a peaceful, a well society, a well developed society will be established. So society, state, society, and individual, all three enjoy autonomous privileges and powers. For this purpose, some reformation should be made. Some reformation should be made. What types of reformation? Abolition of untouchability, more removal of women exploitation, equal status should be given to the women, so on and so forth. So necessity of social reformation, political reformation, and economic reformation is necessary to establish autonomy. To establish autonomy, what is social reformation? Removal of social evils, tortures, untouchability. Political means political power should not be centralized, but it should be decentralized. Panchayat Raj system should be introduced so that people will participate in the political process. And economic reformation should be made. Importance should be given to the indigenous goods and services. Importance should be given to khadar, that means charak, otherwise known as. People should give importance to the cottage industries. More and more resources should be invested for development of rural people. Similar decentralization of power. Power should be decentralized. Each village should be treated as a republic, and people should participate in the affairs of the villages. There should be the end of for this purpose, the colonialism and imperialism should be ended, and power should be exercised by the people, and concentration of power will lead to anarchy, lawlessness, exploitation. So in India, power will be vested in the hands of common men, and common men, they should not remain aloof from the activities, policies of the government, because in the election they should exercise their franchise honestly. They should elect the suitable person, so that a good government will be established. And resources, decentralization of resources. Resources means the properties should be decentralized. They should not be centralized. If there is centralization of resources, then automatically economic exploitation will be made. There will be distinction between rich and poor. landlord and laborers, distinction between capitalist and labor. So the resources of the state should be invested. Money should be invested for development of rural people, but not the urban people. Next is individual and satyagraha. Individual and satyagraha both are interrelated and reciprocal. What is satyagraha? I have told you. Let us discuss satyagraha. It is a combination of two words. Satyagraha means satya plus agraha. Satya means truth. Agraha means interest. Interest for the truth, or to speak truth, or the strong belief on truth. So what is satyagraha? It is a method which gives importance to truth, non-violence, faith on God, opposition to violence, embrace to self-suffering, etc., etc. So who adopts satyagraha? The individual. So the person who adopts satyagraha is known as satyagrahi. That's why there is a close relation between individual and the satyagraha. According to him, individual should not be loyal to corrupt state, and to support a corrupted state is a sin, and to oppose a corrupted state is a virtue, or support to disloyalty is a virtue. Sorry, support opposed to disloyalty is a virtue. So there is a close relation between individual and the state. Individual should observe the policies of the state, activities of the state or government. If necessary, he should oppose in a non-violent method. So satyagraha is adherence to truth, and it is a policy of a strong person. It is not a policy of a weak person. Here is a difference between satyagraha, and some say that satyagraha and the passive resistance both are same thing. Satyagraha and passive resistance both are same thing, but in fact both are two different things. Satyagraha can be followed by strong persons, physically, mentally, spiritually strong persons, and the passive resistance is followed by weak persons, physically, mentally weak persons. And in case of satyagraha, the person must have strong faith on God. He cannot adapt violent methods under any circumstances. But in case of passive resistance, a passive resistor may adapt violent methods if necessary. That's why there is a clear-cut difference between satyagraha and passive resistance. What are the duties of satyagraha? What are the duties of satyagraha? Duties of satyagrahi. Who is satyagrahi? Who adopts satyagraha is known as satyagrahi. What is his duty? Duty means a satyagrahi, a person can be a satyagrahi if he has strong faith on God. He must speak the truth. He must embrace non-violence. He must be physically fit. He must oppose the illegal, immoral decision or policy of the government in a non-violent method. Under no circumstance he will adopt violent methods. Sometimes the government may use force over satyagrahis. Government may use force over satyagrahis, but in spite of that, the satyagrahis should not adopt violent methods. So, to oppose the illegal, immoral policies of the government, the satyagrahi must inform the government, must point out the government the drawbacks, the defects of the policy or activities. If the satyagrahis want to adopt satyagraha, they must inform the government, they must inform the authority, and place of the satyagraha should be informed to the government, and the reasons behind satyagraha must be informed to the government. These are some duties of satyagrahi. So satyagrahi is a physically strong person, not a weak person, because he must have physical strength to bear all exploitations, torture. So what are the rules of satyagraha? Gandhi has formulated different rules. First is, rules are very simple. First is self-reliance. Satyagrahi must be self-confident. They must have strong faith upon themselves. They should not be mobilized, persuaded by other forces. And initiative, they must take their own initiative. They must take their own step. Propagation of objectives. The objective means the aims and objectives. The regions of satyagraha. The satyagrahis must inform the people about the objectives of satyagraha. And reduction of demand, they should not submit more demand. They should submit legitimate demand before the authority or the government. And advance of important is advance of movement through step by step. So satyagraha should be made through different steps. Here we remember Gandhi was a propounder of satyagraha, and he did not adopt satyagraha accidentally. Before that, he adopted satyagraha individually against the salt law and other things before civil disobedience movement, and in the before non-cooperation movement, and in the non-cooperation movement, he advised the people to non-cooperate, to boycott goods and services, but he did not demand Swaraj or self-rule or complete independence. So step first, opposition to different rules, policies of the government, colonial government, and in the non-cooperation movement, he advised the people to non-cooperate and should not involve in violent. He should not adopt violent methods. But accidentally he withdraw non-cooperation because of Chauri Chaura incident. And after that, he advised the people to participate in the civil disobedience movement. And the last step which Gandhi was adopted in the Quit India movement 1942, that is do or die. So Gandhi adopted different methods step by step. This is the important rule of satyagraha. And next is examination of weakness. Satyagrahis must observe, they must judge their weakness, and if possible, they should rectify their own weakness. And seventh is honorable cooperation to the opponent. Who is an opponent? The British government or British imperialism. So they submit their demands before the British government, and they should cooperate the British government to solve their own problems. They solve their own problems. So for this purpose, discussions should be made with the opponent, the government or the authority. Without cooperation, problems will not be solved. So for the solution of problems, the satyagrahis should cooperate with the government authority and refusal to surrender the basic principles. The basic principle is to materialize their demands, adoption of non-violent methods, adherence to truth, to speak the truth, and boycott, etc., etc. So satyagrahis, they should not surrender their basic principles in order to get their demands fulfilled. Next is, what is steps of satyagraha? There are different steps of satyagraha. The satyagrahis, they should adopt different steps in order to fulfill their demands. First is negotiation. They should negotiate with the British government. And second is direct action. direct action means if necessary, the satyagrahis may take direct action, means just like civil disobedience, non-cooperation movement, quit enablement, etc., etc. But such direct action should be adopted in a non-violent methods, so they should control themselves. They should control, the satyagrahis should control themselves, and all agitations, all demonstrations should be peacefully organized, not violent methods, not violently organized. So faith on peaceful method, demonstration, opposition to the government should be peacefully made. Issuing of an ultimatum means the government must be informed about the demands of satyagrahi, so that government will take time to fulfill the demands. And a economic boycott. Gandhi adopted boycott in the non-cooperation movement, not to admit children in the English medium schools or schools and education institutions managed by the government, not to use foreign goods and services, we use only indigenous goods, not to cooperate, non-cooperation, not to cooperate with British government. If if the government is non-cooperated, then the government will be constrained to accede, to agree with the demands of satyagraha. So non-cooperation means not to cooperate with the British government, not to pay taxes, so on and so forth, so that the government will be obliged, will be compelled to concede with the demands. Civil disobedience. If non-cooperation is failed, the next method, civil disobedience, may be adopted. Civil disobedience method may be adopted to boycott, not to oppose illegal, immoral laws of the state, laws of the government. In this context, if the law is violated, automatically, obviously, government will use force. In this case also, the satyagrahis, they should not adopt violent methods. Usurping the functions of the government. Functions of the government, steps should be taken to paralyze the government, administration of the government, but in a peaceful methods. If all 8 methods are failed, according to Gandhi, if all 8 methods are failed, then the satyagrahis may form a parallel government. So parallel government may be made if necessary, but it is a drastic step, and it should not be easily adopted. Parallel government will lead to lawlessness. Government, in this context, government may use brute force. So this method, the last method, should be cautiously adopted. So satyagraha is a method of non-violence and adopted by only satyagrahis. So for the adoption of satyagraha, some code of conduct should be adopted. Code of conduct should be followed. So satyagraha and Swaraj. Satyagraha and Swaraj. So you see, satyagraha is a method of dharma, it is a method of truth, method of non-violence, and here power should not be, you see, violent methods should not be adopted, and non-violent methods should be adopted. If the satyagrahis adopt non-violent methods, it will not be treated as a satyagraha. So I have already told you there is a difference between satyagraha and passive resistance. Passive resistance may be adopted by the poor, may be adopted by the weak person, and satyagraha may be adopted by the strong person, mentally and physically strong persons. So relation between satyagraha and Swaraj. What is the relation between satyagraha and Swaraj? Both are interrelated and reciprocal. One is Swaraj is the end, satyagraha is the means. So Swaraj is attained by the satyagraha. So Swaraj means self-rule, exploitation-free society, depend on use of indigenous goods and services, importance to cottage industries, power should be invested in the common man, decentralization of power, active participation of the people in the administrative field, solution of problems through own methods. These are some principles of satyagraha, and this could be achieved by the principles of Swaraj, and this could be established. This could be achieved by satyagraha. So satyagraha and Swaraj both are interlinked. Without satyagraha, Swaraj cannot be achieved, and for the achievement of Swaraj, satyagraha is necessary and forceful method is not necessary. So for the attainment of Swaraj, social unity is necessary. Social unity, without social unity, Swaraj will be meaningless. So what is social unity? Cordial relation among the people, equal status, establishment of equal society. But according to Gandhi, social unity should be established in three fields. First, among the untouchable and other caste. Untouchables and downtrodden, they are hated, they are exploited by the higher caste. They enjoy less positions, privileges than the other caste. So there must be the untouchable should be abolished. They should be considered as horizon. They should enjoy equal status with others. If they enjoy equal status with others, social unity will be established. Social unity will be established. Second is Hindu-Muslim unity. I have told you, Hindus are majority in India and Muslims are minority in India. And there is a constant struggle, confrontation, conflict, violent conflict between the two communities, and that should be removed, and both should live together. Both should live with hand in hand. If they live together, if they establish good relation with each other, social unity will be established. Development of India will be possible. In this context, according to Gandhi, this Hindus should take the initiative because they are the majority, and they should extend their helping hand with the Muslims, so that the Muslims will come forward. So communal harmony, Hindu-Muslim harmony or a Hindu-Muslim unity is necessary to maintain social unity. And a narrowing gap between rich and poor. Is necessary. Narrowing gap between city and the villages. Narrowing gap between rich and poor also necessary, but so narrowing gap between city and villages is also necessary. City, the people of urban areas, they enjoy more facilities in social, economic, political, health, education in fields, and the people of villages, they are deprived of enjoying such facilities. So there is a big gap between the two. In this case, the people of city, people of urban areas, they should not exploit the people of rural areas. And sometimes you see the in case of India, the urban people, they are living in palatial buildings, whereas the rural people, some people, they don't have even a cottage. Their socio-economic condition is more precarious. They do not get a square meal per day, whereas they are working in different fields and they produce crops and they provide food to the urban people. So the urban people, they should not exploit the rural people and help for the economic development of the rural people. So the gap between city and villages should be reduced. So Swaraj is a participatory process. Swaraj means self-rule, exploitation-free society, but this would be possible only by participation of the people. If people participate actively in the process, political process, then Swaraj will be established. If people do not participate, then Swaraj will be meaningless. So people must have interest to participate in the Swaraj. So it is Swaraj is a participatory process. People's participation is necessary. So another is Swaraj should not be Swaraj cannot be established by few. It cannot become by one day. More and more struggle, agitation is necessary for the acquisition of Swaraj, and the people participate. More and more people participate to resist the government, resist the exploiter, so that it will be a success. Its concept of rights and duties. Its concept of rights and duties. We have discussed rights and what is right and what is duty. Rights and duties are interrelated and reciprocal. If here Gandhi gives importance to right and Gandhi gives importance to duties rather than rights. If individual perform duties, then automatically he will enjoy the rights. So according to Gandhi, individuals should enjoy rights for the better interest of the society, better interest of the society, and it is the duty, it is the right of the individual to discharge his duties. So this concept, the concept of duties and rights, this concept of duties and rights is derived from the Bhagavad Gita. He was in this case, he was very much influenced by Bhagavad Gita, the words of Sri Krishna. Bhagavad Gita on human rights. So universal rights and not sectional rights. He was supporter of universal right. What is universal right? Universal right means all individuals equally enjoy status, positions, privileges. They should all people should enjoy the rights equally without any distinction. And he was not a supporter of sectional rights. Sectional rights. What is sectional rights? In society is divided into different sections: rich, poor, landlords, revelers, educated, uneducated, upper class, lower class, upper caste and lower caste, so on. So rights should not be given to rich, educated, upper class, capitalist, but all enjoy status and positions, privileges, enjoy equal status, positions and privileges. So he was not a supporter of sectional rights, but he was a supporter of universal right. That means irrespective of caste, creed, color, sex, place of birth, all individuals should enjoy equal status, positions and privileges. Next is right of women. Right of women. You see, in case of India, women are exploited, tortured, neglected. They are debarred of enjoying their legitimate rights. So to Gandhi, both to Gandhi, women should enjoy equal status with men. There should not be any difference between men and women in different fields. Biological difference should not be emphasized, and the women, they should change their outlook, attitude towards their men. They should not simply obey the orders, the advices of their husband. In other words, the women should not please the men. Women are, to Gandhi, women are more intelligent, more efficient than men, and so it is the primary task of women to be a good mother, to be a good housekeeper. Women are spiritual persons. They are the storehouse of values, pity, sympathy. So yes, they are more responsible person than the men. So they are more peaceful than the men. Women are more peaceful than the men, according to Gandhi. For this purpose, he advised to provide separate education for men, separate education for women, for their development. So separate education must be important to women, so that they will be they will enjoy, they will be conscious about their rights, privileges, status and positions, and they will enjoy equal status with men. What should be the role of women in the national movement? Gandhi advised the women to work at home, busy with cottage industries, busy with their families, domestic life, and they should be involved in, yes, their indigenous profession. By adopting indigenous profession, their family profession, they will help to develop the economic condition of India. But after that, Gandhi advised Gandhi advised the women to participate in the national movement, and in the national movement, this women were also participating. So according to Gandhi, women should make their family. They should make as a silent leader. They should build the career of their children. In this context, they must discharge a predominant role. Next comes the end and means. We are concluding. We are in the concluding unit of your MGP4. That is unit system. End and means, relation between end and means. So there is a cordial relation between end and means, and it. According to Gandhi, end is the Swaraj, means is the Satyagraha. So for the achievement of end, proper means must be adopted. And if you are committing mistake, if you commit mistake, the end will not be achieved. So for the achievement of end, proper method should be adopted. Here Gandhi adopts an example. If you want to cross the ocean, you must take the help of a vessel. Take the help of a vessel, but not to. And you should not take the help of a cart or to have a bicycle. If you take the help of a cart or a bicycle to cross the ocean, you will see the bottom of the sea, bottom of the ocean. So the end is to cross the vessel. To end is to cross the ocean, and the means is the vessel, but not the cart. Similarly, for the achievement of end, proper right means should be adopted. So there is a clear-cut relation, close relation between end and means. Here in this case, He is not agree with Marxian concept, not agree with Kautilya's concept. According to Marx, for the achievement of end, violent methods should be adopted. What is the end of Karl Marx? To establish a classless society, to establish a classless society, and for this purpose, class revolution is there. Dictatorship of the proletariat must be established. So Gandhi was a supporter of violent methods to adapt to achieve the end. Violent method to achieve the end. What is Kautilya's method? It is said any method can be adapted for the achievement of end. Everything is fair in politics. It is said. But Gandhi was a critic of Marx and Kautilya. According to Gandhi, non-violent methods should be adapted. Non-violent methods should be adapted, or otherwise known as satyagraha, should be adapted for the achievement of end. So the satyagrahis, they should select the right means to achieve the end. And the purity of the soul and means. Switch of ends and the means. There is a relation between end and means. Purity of the soul is necessary. What is purity of the soul? Individuals have souls. They are the supporter of, they are the ethical persons, and they should adopt ethical principles. Evils, if individual supports evils, good society cannot be established, and if individual supports evils, good result cannot be achieved. So noble ends could be achieved by noble means. So according to Gandhi, the Indians, the people, they are the bearers of truth, and they are the bearers of truth, and they should adopt the truthful methods. So for the adoption of ends, they must adopt truthful methods. But question is, what is truth? What is truth? It differs from person to person. Truth differs from person to person. And here one says, I am a truthful person. Other says, I am a truthful person. But but nobody knows the absolute truth. Absolute truth is different. But all says that they know the truth. And here is the cite the example of cites a story, and everybody knows the story. Five blind persons, they go to the forest to see an elephant. Somebody hold the legs, another trunks, another the ear of the elephant, another the tail of the elephant, etc., etc. And they claimed elephant is such and such, but the elephant is something different. So say that so here he says that truth is different from person to person, and absolute truth is something different. Next the last is Ahimsa as the means to realize Swaraj. Ahimsa as the means to realize Swaraj. Swaraj is necessary. Non-violent methods should be adopted for the achievement of Swaraj. So, for the achievement of Swaraj, right means must be adopted. Right means must be adopted, and there is no alternative to non-violence, because violence, he is a critic of violence, and there is no alternative. Next is non-violence is all pervasive and eternal principle, because it covers all aspects of human life. It covers all aspects of human life. So it is so socio-economic, political, religious, etc. It covers all aspects of human life. So it is eternal. It embraces voluntary poverty, simplicity, and suffering. Non-violence embraces voluntary poverty. That means here he says the example of the duties of satyagrahi. Satyagrahi may a satyagrahi may object, may resist the illegal action of the government. In this context, he should not be swayed by the economic factors, forces. His economic condition may be affected. If necessary, he may embrace poverty, simplicity, and suffering. Suffering means government may use force. He must he must tolerate the forces of the government. So, what is the success of non-violence? Success of non-violence. Non-violence depends upon three factors, three forces. The participants practice non-violence strictly. They should not, satyagrahi, they should not practice violent method under any circumstance, and they must have faith on non-violent methods, and they should bear the exploitation, but they should not give up the non-violent methods. And overlook to repression and suffering, government may use force, but satyagrahi should not resist. Should not resist the government by violent methods. He should faith on God, Satya, truth, non-violence, etc., etc., and emphasis on least economic and civil disruption. It is important. Least economic in the satyagraha, economic dislocation may be made. Civil life of the individual may be hampered. In this case, the satyagrahi should seal that least economic and social disruption or dislocation should be made. So, this is a brief discussion about Gandhiji's about your MGP4 in block 1 and 2 units of block 2. With this, we conclude that Gandhi, it is clear from our discussion that Gandhi was a supporter of non-violence. He was a critic of colonialism and imperialism, but he was not a critic of British people. He was not a critic of British people. He was a supporter of British constitutional system. He was a supporter of emancipation of women. He was a supporter of liberation of untouchables, abolition of untouchables. He was a supporter of introduction of encouragement of cottage industries, and he wanted to establish a classless, casteless, and exploitation-free society by adopting the method of satyagraha or non-violence. With this, we conclude our discussion. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Is it over?
Okay, sir.
Is it okay? But now it's the time to discuss. If students has any doubt, they can ask you.
Okay.
Students, if you have any doubt, you can unmute your mic and ask the questions to the counselor. Otherwise, you can write the questions in the chat box also. Actually, the class would be more interactive. The students are only sitting and sitting. They're not asking questions.
I have decided
actually, you should discuss or you can ask some questions in between also.
Okay.
Okay, students. because if you don't interact, then class will be not so interesting. Both of you should interact. Either you may ask question to the students, or students may ask question.
It should be.
Students,
So I have decided
have
to
you
give
any doubt?
nothing. No, sir.
I think
No,
nothing.
nothing.
Okay, then now we can wind up the session. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, dear
welcome.
learners.
Okay.
So let
Thank
us
you.
wind up the session.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay. Let us see day after tomorrow. Okay. See.